Hello and welcome to everyone who's just joined our Skype online seminar. My name is Maria. I'm an author of the program LanguagePro, and I'm happy that we have so many people listening to our seminar today. As I mentioned before, the seminar are kind of an advanced level, so if you're just starting to learn the language, it's okay if you don't understand completely everything, but you just listen, then read the article with vocabulary a couple of times and you will be just fine. Take about 2-3 months, you will understand more words. For people who've got intermediate skills and advanced skills, I hope that will be beneficial for you, and you will understand most of the words. I've got a London accent. I am from London, so hopefully, if you're interested, please let me know. Send me email via study@languagepro.uk. Let's get it started. So the topic we're going to discuss today is the Office of Fair Trading investigates negative influence by the Big Four. And the Big Four, the four major companies which presents the worldwide accounting firms, namely PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and KPMG, Deloitte, and Ernst & Young. So they're four companies. They are turtles on the ground. So they are basis of all companies, and they audit majority of international firms, namely FTSE companies in the business world. You have an option to read an article, as I mentioned before, online. I will provide a link at the end of the seminar. So the questions we are going to underline here: what is the current problem within Big Four? And the problem is the Office of Fair Trade is the one who investigates the competition in the market, is not quite happy about what is going on with an auditing sector. So let's try to see how this situation affects the international auditing sector. So there's no doubt that when it comes to choosing an auditing company, especially for the listed firms, the favor points are counted for the prestige and ranking of auditing companies, years on the market, and professionalism. This all translated into the high fees, and practice is expected to perform at the topmost standard. The criteria above are logical and understandable, yet there should be an element of fair competition, which at the present time has been totally ignored by the UK government, namely the Competition Commission. So what we mean here is when any company around FTSE list choose who will be auditing their financial reports, and financial reports are usually made for investors, for shareholders, for everyone who is interested in information, how company is stable, how company progress in finance, how company is regulated, and how company is managed. So to see that, the company use outsider, if you like, and they use outsider to look through financial statements, confirm their requirements are all met, there are no mistakes, no material huge losses and huge mistakes and errors, and obviously they will guarantee that investors and shareholders can be confident in providing information. Now, as we said, most of the companies do choose professionalism, do choose the years the company's been in the market, and of course, the more professionalism in the firm, the higher the fees will be. While government is encouraging small and mid-sized firms to grow, 99% of audit market in the UK belongs to the Big Four, as I mentioned, PwC, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, and KPMG. The market, which represents over £600 million pool of auditing fees. The market where smaller companies have no chance to compete, no fair selection, and no open tenders to increase the 1% cap from total market. So, as I've mentioned here, the majority of the firms prefer bigger companies such as Big Four companies. And the scary fact about this is 99% of all costs and all fees received belong to these Big Four, where the smaller or mid-sized companies have no chance at all to get into this market. And it is a problem because the smaller companies, the mid-sized companies do need to grow. And the government is trying to encourage and push the banks to sort of help them out and borrow more so the companies can grow. But at the same time, because of this competition, it's really monopoly of the market because it's understandable from one side that big firms prefer bigger companies, but they don't change them, but they don't swap them around. They don't ever give a chance to smaller firms to prove they can also achieve high results and excellent services, regardless of their professionalism or years in the market, etc. Since 1987, the evolution of Big Eight, they prefer, before we had Big Eight rather than Big Four, has begun by merging the strongest leading auditing firms and forming four major firms named Big Four. These firms decreased in the numbers but expanded in their service lines, providing tax advice, consulting, planning and legal, HR, business advice as an addition or loan. It was mentioned that companies of such mega size with large numbers of services are more fragile than other companies. Why? Well, simple, because it's not only all good to be in an orchestra, but for quality music you would still prefer to go to the Royal Opera House. There will always be a point after which company weakens inside or outside, unless the services lines were segregated in a good time. So, was there any reason to suggest that in the very near future the Office of Fair Trade will aim to dilute Big Four with the mid-tier firms? And I'll say yes. But not only because the OFT has been working since January of 2011 on submitting the reports of Competition Commission to make a final decision, but most likely because of the current political news background. The EU Treaty changes upon us, including a draft on the changes in the auditing sector. This concerns Britain directly due to its leading position on the market, which will lead the Big Four to squeeze into the tightened European Commission law higher penalty charges from 10% over for manipulation of the market participants in the industry such as audit. There will be either expansion of the top leading firms in audit sector to about 8 to 10, which will include companies like Grant Thornton, BDO, Kelso and RCM, or an open tender system for smaller firms to participate and for shareholders to appoint another auditor, hence increase the frequency of change. Our option is to diversify in the Big Four service lines, which is a long and complicated process to start with. While first solution brings the immediate balance on the market and provides chance to other participants. The new rules will apply to the frequency of change, including a fixed term, during which the FTSE firm can appoint an auditor as well as a number of years such an auditor cannot be appointed for, allowing smaller business to win the tender. The OFT has submitted the Statutory Auditing Market Research Investigation Report to the CC in October 2011. The report was widely discussed by 20 companies, including the Big Four representatives. As of today, the CC has not made the final decision nor recommendation. So, in this article, you can clearly see that there are problems in the auditing sector at the moment, and currently, the decision has not been yet made by the Competition Committee. However, if the Trade Office will prove that such competition and toughness on the market does exist, it will be hard not to implement a new rule, implement a new tender rule, if you like, that will open the market for mid-tier companies and smaller firms to participate as auditors. So the current situation is we're waiting for the report to be approved, we're waiting for decision to be made, and it's most likely that in the near future the Big Four will be extended to the size of approximately 8 to 10 companies. And in fairness, it's a very honest, a good decision to make because at the moment there is a high concentration and a very lack of frequency of change. And of course, the expansion of the number of auditors will eventually ease the situation and will dilute a bit of a market sort of competition. As I said, the current seminar is over. Thank you very much for listening to me. And if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me via email, which is study@LanguagePro.co.uk. I will put the link for this article in the end of the slide. Please comment if you do feel so, and I will hear you and I will speak to you next weekend. Have a good week. Goodbye.